One wouldn't think so, but the methodology proposed by the military forces was to conduct 13% of the interviews via phone and the rest via personal interviews. And it was really hard to reach the percentage of
30%.
of interviews via phone. It was really difficult. It was easier to go in person and collect information. But in contractual terms, when you're working with official institutions, it is really hard to make any change of what is established from the beginning. So, but at the end we did it because there was no other option. We finally ended up having 10% of the interviews via phone. And we had to do things like this. We had the first numbers, when a number worked, when a phone number worked, we had the first numbers of we took the first numbers of the whole number, and the rest, we made several combinations of numbers for trying to get another number that worked. So it was really important, the effort we made there. And also, when having to go in person to all those municipalities, the expenses of the study were much higher than we expected. So the profitability of the project wasn't as we expected, because we had to implement every kind of things to get in the interviews. In terms of urbanism, having to collect the addresses, for example, of the houses, the homes, was really hard because there were many who had no number. So the interviewers had to take all the information they could. That's the house, the black house, the white house, near the tienda, and I don't know, the other side of the church, and all those kind of things, for being able later to find those homes again in many cases. Because what we did also is, when the municipality was too small and we had two waves, as you saw, we couldn't come to the same home in the second wave. So we had to check all those characteristics of the homes and leave those homes out of the sample in the second wave. So the work was really hard. The interviewers had to do a lot of things that they are not used to do, but it was interesting anyway. And with regard to the weather conditions, okay, we had to have a very efficient communication with the interviewers. When they were not able to come to a municipality, they had to tell and change the municipality where they were supposed to go and things like that. But at the end, we ended the study.
A great lesson. Dorian Haas, working for the military forces, presented methodological and analytical challenges for the agency and especially for the individuals, leading us to overcome our fears, make quick and effective decisions, and to excel as researchers. This study allowed us to confirm that our ultimate goal is to satisfy the needs of our customers, overcoming the various difficulties that may arise during the development of our work. This is achieved through effective communication with the client and among collaborators. The security perception study left us with the satisfaction of having delivered reliable and timely information to Colombia's military forces. It also left us with the satisfaction of learning about the reality of our country and our people, which is what all researchers ultimately search for.
Okay, this is it.
Questions? A lot of the dilemmas you mentioned in the last couple of points, they were location-based. You know, how do you find this house again?
Yes.
I wondered if using GPS or cell location technology is an option that's practical.
Yeah, it would have been. The point is, again, security. Many times when interviewers carry those kind of things, they get robbed.
They get robbed, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought from a security, it could have been a good thing, because they could have done the survey, submitted it, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's true.
But they get targeted to be robbed, yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
But also in crowded areas, I mean, I don't know about Colombia because some of the things were not to that extreme, but we see it in rural areas in many of the countries, including Egypt, of course. And because it's in the villages, it's crowded. It's very near to each other. Sometimes, in our case, usually they know people. They know the name of the person. That's one of the techniques we use if we ask about the name of the person. But they have a fear factor in their country. But in ours, we don't have that kind. But many of the things she was talking about, yeah, we do face things like that.
Things like that.
Not the violence, but many of the things, yes, we do.
I was wondering when you had to involve the police, or you wanted to involve the police by telling them we're here now and going to stay so and so long, wouldn't that influence the results? Did the police have a different image? I was wondering if an interviewer appeared in front of a house with a police officer behind them, if that would not change the...
They were really not exactly behind him. They were checking not from so close.
But unnoticed? Was it really unnoticed?
Yes,
or?
it was supposed to be so. I mean, they tried to be unnoticed.
Okay.
They were not right by their side. They were just checking.
What?
Sorry.
Why was there the insistence on the telephone piece, or how did they come up with the percentage?
I really don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why. I think it is because they thought it was easier to go into those municipalities that are really so hot. It wasn't possible, so it should be easier to make it via phone. But it wasn't at the end. But I think that's the reason.
Catalina, I just wondering how do you convince your interviewer to actually take on the jobs? What did you give them? And what kind of incentive?
Nothing in particular. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's well paid, but not exceptionally well paid. That's just the work they had to do. That's why so many quit. Also.
So I think I know the answer to this, but are any of the results available to discuss, or is that all?
No,
quiet?
that's private. That's for them.
That's what I thought.
But they really use it because for them it is really very important to see how the perception is changing when they act in a particular municipality. I mean, they have special activities that they conduct in some municipalities. We have other studies with the military forces also, just for checking when they, and we conduct two measures, one before they act and exactly after they have done any particular activity, so that they can really check if they are changing the perception of the population there. And for them it is really important to see what is happening. And in fact, this year happened something very interesting because last year when we presented the results from the study in front of all the high end of the military forces, because we do it like that every time, there was one person who was saying, I don't believe what you're saying about that region, that can't be possible. They do have a better perception about us. And this year, there was a really big problem in that region. And they afterwards called us, the one who works directly with us, telling us, right now you have a really high credibility here because of what happens. Yeah, no, you see, it was true what you were saying. You was wrong. And it has been really satisfying to work with them.
How long does it take?
It takes 6 months. Yeah. Until the presentation of the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have to get a particular security clearance or something from the government or from the military, or why did they pick you? Why not somebody else? I mean, was there special conditions that they had to meet?
No, no, not really. We have been working with the government in many different topics for many years, so we have experience there, and they solicitar.
Es a bid
So we subject our bid and then we won the job. On top of that, we had background recommendations from other officers.
You have to present certifications of your experience and many things, and they give you points for each aspect that they are evaluating, and then the one who gets the more points,
Yeah.
it conducts, the company conducts the study, and so were we selected. And after conducting it the first time, then you have the experience, then it will be much easier. If you did it good, right, then they will be always happy to work with you again.
Did you insure your workers?
No,
No?
no, we don't.
While in emerging markets, we don't do that.
We wouldn't be allowed to do the insurance beyond.
But in the fringe benefits of the salaries we pay to our workers, there's an insurance involved in those risks because there are professional risks.
Sí.
But we didn't take an extra policy to cover the
Yeah.
risk.
Kathleen, how high in the government was a decision to do a survey like this made? Because it strikes you that in a country so volatile, there must be a point where all the difficulties of doing the research are outweigh the actual, the sort of, the evidence or truth that you're actually going to get. Do you know what I mean? Actually, it can be too volatile to actually do research. Does that make sense? So someone quite senior in the government's got to say, actually, the political situation is stable
Because of the
enough.
political situation of being so unstable, you mean?
Yeah.
That it
But-
changes too fast, if I'm understanding well, so, no?
Yeah, I'm just thinking somebody quite senior in the government must look at this and go and weigh up, actually, however good these researchers are that are telling me the results from this are going to be meaningful for us, actually there's a counterbalance which says the political situation in the country is so volatile with these military groups going around that actually, however good the research methodology might be, the results might actually not be. Does that make sense?
No.